it's so weird without Steve
I
here.
don't like it. It's unsettling
I'm
me.
already nervous.
I'm so worried. We're going to do something wrong, Rory. We're guaranteed to do something wrong.
It's now time for something a little bit different, something a little bit odd, and in this instance, something quite paternal. It's time for Polyhedron Collider Off Topic. It's time for Ramshackle. With me, Rory Summers, and him, Sid Gill.
Hello.
And in joining us tonight is Mr. Dan Hughes himself. Hello, Dan.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your inaugural off-topic podcast, which is very fitting for me, so that's good.
It's brilliant. I can't wait for the absolute sheer randomness that will ensue in the next 30 to 60 minutes. It's going to be mental.
Yeah, very good. I'm looking forward to it.
It's quite convenient, actually, Rory. I've just thought about this. We've got no parental supervision today.
We don't know.
And
Steve normally keeps
us in line, and we're going to talk about all things parental.
That's the plan. We've invited Dan to come along and join us to talk about playing board games with your kids, because Dan, you're no stranger to this subject.
No, it's something I've had a strong interest in ever since becoming a parent, which a lot of board gaming parents will be. I also I used to run, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I used to run a board game club back pre-COVID times for children. So a children's board game.
Oh, right.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So we used to... it was kind of aimed at primary school children, and anyone primary school age used to come down to a board game. And I ran it with Mr. Flavian Lucer, who at the time was just a friend, but now is the managing director of Hache UK. So
head honcho.
Head honcho.
I didn't realise.
Yeah. No,
right.
Flav lives quite close to me, so me and Flav are very good friends. So me and him used to run a board game club for kids. So I've got a lot of experience. I'm not saying I'm any good at it, mind you. I could have had a lot of incompetent experience, but but I can still talk about it and pretend I know what I'm talking about.
And of course, you did your YouTube review channel with the Dice Tower.
I did.
Dan and Cora's
yes.
reviews.
I did, yes. Myself and Cora, my well, she's now 13, but she was...
No, wow.
Yeah, she was 4 when we started.
Wow.
So we that's how I kind of muscled my way into the Dice Tower. I do a lot of things by muscling my children, manipulating my children into allowing me to do exciting things. And one of those things was be on the Dice Tower. So we used to review kids' board games for the Dice Tower and things like that. So, yeah.
That's cool. And then, of course, you went on to design what, in my opinion, is one of the best kids' games ever. No, I'm not blowing smoke up your...
No, he's right. He's right, Dan. It's one of the best kids' games we've ever played.
We love that. Coraquest. We talk about it often on the show.
You do. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but I never realised until I became a board game designer, but board game designers tend to stalk reviewers. So if you ever have like the name of a board game in a YouTube description or something like that, there was a point. I don't do it quite. So I'm not quite as bad at this at the moment, but there's a point where I was googling Coraquest at least 3 times a day to kind of any review. I was basically the first view on it. So I've heard you talk about Coraquest a lot, and I very much appreciate it. And you did an incredibly touching post on Reddit, which really touched my heart.
Oh no, I'm glad. Well, it's brought me and my son so much pleasure.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, it's lovely to hear stuff like that. And incidentally, Tom Vassell himself, private messaged me about your Reddit post and said how and said how I should keep that in a special file and look at it whenever anyone was critical of me and things like that. So there you go.
Oh, that's quite cool. That is. But no, I remember. I actually met you and Cora a couple of years ago at the expo.
All right.
And I came along with my son, and that's when we bought the game, or had we already got? No, we must have already had it at that point. And my son was like, "Hello, Cora," and just had that little bit of an exchange. And she's a few years older than Logan, but it was really cool for me as a parent to bring my son along and go, "This is the person. This is the child that has created the game that you and I are enjoying." And to go, right, you can do something like that too. We just go sit down and do it and start playing, and we can create something. And even if it never goes anywhere, we've created something. And it was really empowering for him to meet you and Cora.
Oh, that's lovely. I remember when we were making Coraquest, because it was never intended to be to be anything really. It was just intended to. It was in the middle of lockdown. Am I just launching? Do I need to do any preamble, or shall I just launch into? I apologise.
Just go in there, please.
You've got some show notes here, so I apologise.
That we are going to completely ignore.
I remember. So, if anyone who's listening doesn't know, Coraquest is a game that I designed with my then 8-year-old daughter during COVID as kind of a homeschooling project, really, because it was the first days of COVID, and school were sending home projects which were things like look up the Romans on the internet, and to be honest, she didn't want to do it, I didn't want to do it, and it's really weird to think back on those times now. I don't know about you guys, but they were actually quite scary times, and they were because we didn't. COVID doesn't feel scary at the moment, but we weren't really sure what was going on in those first few weeks. Yeah. And also, kids, and you may have found it with your own children, but kids of Cora's age, of kind of 8, they don't have social media access and things, so they weren't able to kind of keep in contact with their friends like I was and things like that. Yeah. So incredibly isolated in home, and her only kind of source of social interaction with her parents. An 8-year-old is kind of the time you're kind of slowly breaking away from your parents as well. And so it was a really difficult time. And it was just a way of distracting both of us. And I'd actually been on a podcast the night before, and the Board Game Snobs podcast, and they asked me, have you ever thought about designing a game? I said, no, I've got no interest in designing a game whatsoever. And then that kind of stuck the seed in my head. So the next day, I said to Cora, do you fancy designing a game instead of looking up the Romans on the internet? And she said, yeah. And the point I was going to, sorry. I'll explain a bit more. This snowballed, and then I've got a friend called Gary, who's an artist, and he, for a joke, did a mock-up, because I was talking about designing it on Facebook and on my podcast and stuff, and he did it for a joke, did a mock-up of a board game cover, nothing like the book cover we got now, but it was really good because Gary's a great artist. And someone else on our Facebook group said, oh, you could call it Coraquest, like Hero Quest. And at that point, kind of Gary did this cover, and I thought, ooh. Ooh,
hang on.
Yeah, hang on, because I'll be honest with you. Really, that first game, it was I mean, it's interesting because people sometimes accuse me of doing this cynically, and that Cora didn't have anything to do with it, and basically I've used her as a marketing tool, and that. I can understand. To be honest, I'm sure I would have a similar type of reaction to it. But I can honestly, hand on heart, saying Cora did 90% of the mechanics, 90% of the certainly those initial ones. Now, when you're playing Coraquest, don't look too closely at Funkoverse or Zombicide because you might find a few similarities. But as I said to her, we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. That's how Bug.
Absolutely, that's how
Bug. It's an iteration, not innovation. And so she did the majority of the mechanics and the story and things like that. That all was stuff stories I've been making up for my kids. Since I've got my eldest daughter, Cora's my youngest daughter, so my eldest now just left university, she's 21. So since she was 4, I've been doing Wizard Pebble Dash and all that kind of stuff, and making this kind of world where this silly wizard who collects spoons and all that kind of stuff. And so kind of it was an amalgamation of my wanting to do something with this Wizard Pebble Dash character I've got, and her this mechanics, and we kind of meshed them together. And then we came up with a game, and then Gary did this thing, and then I went, ooh, and it kind of snowballed, and then we play tested it, and then we got a lot of really good feedback, and various people gave some, there's a few instances where, like the cooldown mechanic, well, that, to be honest, that's a little bit of Funkoverse, but the spiders at some point, the spiders come out into the. Now, I'll be honest. That was Chris Yee playtesting it. So Chris Yee of the Dice Tower playtesting it. He kind of said basically, well, you can just hang around and do nothing. I said, yeah, but you're not meant to just hang around and do nothing. You're meant to run around the dungeon opening things. Yeah, but if you want to cheat, you can just do one room at a time and things like that. Sorry, I'm assuming more knowledge of the rules with the listeners than probably is fair. But anyway, so basically, lots and lots of people suggesting things and play testing, which is. again, which is how board games get made. I've discovered that designing board games isn't about designing a good game; it's designing a bad one and then making it better. And once you get over,
I love that. That's wicked.
It honestly is because once you get over the fact that you need to come up with a perfect board game out of the gate.
Yeah.
Then, because no one, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if Rainer Knizia does. I'm sure he rattles off 3 before lunch. But most people, I'm sure, just come up with a bad one and then just make it better, iteration on iteration,
every step.
and stuff like that. At some point, you think, okay, I think it's done, and then you kind of launch it. So. What was that? I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, it's been ages since I've done publicity for Coraquest. It feels nice to launch into the whole spiel of it again.
Do it.
So then basically Gary did this thing, and I started thinking, and then Mark Cook. I'm assuming you know Mark.
We know Cookie.
Yeah. He's got kind of experience with manufacturing board games and things like that, and he very kindly came on board and said, "I'll help you with the contacts with the board game manufacturers and how to get it from China to." Cause I've got no idea how to get a game from China to. What do you do?
Where do you start with that?
Where do you start? Exactly. Where do you start with that? I still don't quite know, and I'm doing another one. So he said he'd do that, and I thought, okay, let's have a go. And we put it on Kickstarter, and because I've got a little bit of a following on the Dice Tower, that helped. And then I've got a friend who I met through the board game club myself and Flavian did. So he was a parent who used to come to the board game, and he's also a PR person. He said, well, I'll do some PR for you. And so he shot off a load of emails to people he knew at the BBC and things like that. We ended up on BBC Breakfast, live on BBC Breakfast.
I remember seeing you on that.
Yeah,
I remember seeing you.
It was absolutely incredible. And live on Look North, we got interviewed on Radio Leeds. We were on ITV and BBC simultaneously at the same time on the evening news. This is had an interview from the Guardian. So
bloody hell.
Yeah, I've got the Guardian newspaper down here it's quite big as well. Front page of my local paper, which caused me all sorts of problems at work, and so that really helped as well. And it kind of snowballed, and it's been quite successful. I mean, it's not massive, but it's successful. So it's a game we started in lockdown, which was genuinely just us making a game. And I remember
for the fun and the pleasure of doing it.
For the fun and the pleasure of doing it. And I remember why I launched into this, but at least that's all out of the way. It's because you said something about your son and saying about you telling him that, they did it, we can do it. I remember sitting down with Cora and her saying, I can't believe we're allowed to do this. And that's both fantastic and a bit sad that she didn't realise that you can be creative for creativity's sake rather than...
Yes.
And I know a product came out of it at the end, so it kind of almost... I don't know, spoils the story a little bit, but that's one thing about Coraquest that we really wanted, and Gary, who's the artist, is a massive proponent of this. Has spent all his career basically working to bring art to people who don't think they can do art. Is about anyone can have a go at this, because honestly, if we can, anyone can.
Anyone can do it.
And it's about handing. We wanted Coraquest to be kind of something that's a toolkit as much as a game in itself, and it needed to be a game in itself right out of the box, because some people don't want to play with a toolkit, but we give everyone the tools and the permission to open it up, mess around with it, change it however they want, create their own characters, create their own stories. Wanted to make it as easy as possible to do that, because that was what me and Cora really valued out of doing the whole thing in the first place, that creativity as well as the game. So there you go. I'll let you speak now. I do apologise.
It's great listening.
Brilliant to hear you talking about it, Dan.
Yeah. So
I almost want to go get the little beggar and go, right, we're going to make a game right now. I've got an idea.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I've still got all the photos of the prototype and stuff like that. And as I say, it was homeschooling stuff. So we were doing graphic design on the computer. We were making it with various programs. We were doing probabilities with the dice. Although at one point I had to email my friend who's an astrophysicist and say, can you help me with these probabilities? Because I don't quite understand what. Yeah, because it might seem simple that yes, one dice is 50% chance, one dice is 33% chance of hitting. But when you put those two dice together, what are the chances there? That's beyond my maths. So my friend had to work it out. So possibly
I don't even want to try and work that out.
Yes, possibly not. What he did his doctorate for, but still.
We're all misusing our degrees.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it.
It's very true. It's very true. So that was the story of Coraquest, and that was the kind of joy of creation and the gaming and all that kind of stuff that we were talking about. Yeah,
that's brilliant. No, I'm well stoked. Like we love it. We've been every now and then Sid and I get together with our kids, and we'll play. And we're working through the campaign at the moment. And my only complaint about Coraquest is the box is now not big enough to fit everything in.
Yeah.
I want a big box edition with the next expansion.
I think if we did do it again, and there's no actual immediate plans to do much more with it, as far as I'm aware. Well, I suppose it's my game, so I should. I know there's no. I guess, unless Mark's working on it in the background. But yeah. Like we said, the iteration of each game and things like that. And there's a few things that I can think of now which would make it better. I'd like to make it so you can play with less than 4 people, because a lot of people do complain about that. I don't think it's a problem personally, but, obviously. And it'd be fairly easy to do, I think, because you just have different spots on a card. Monsters spawn on a card, so you could have certain number of monsters spawn if there's 4 players.
It'd be really easy to do. I think you just dots in the circle. So 4 players, they both go here, and 2 or 3 they go one. Easy enough to do, but
And one of the criticisms we get, which also is one of the praises we get, is it can be a little bit difficult. And it's not about being difficult; it's about people missing. They don't like the probabilities. So I wonder sometimes if we'd be better making the monsters harder, but increasing the probabilities to hit, if that makes any sense. So there's fewer misses on a dice. Because one thing that's really difficult to balance, there's not many Ameritrash games for kids, and that's one of the reasons that we went. I mean, I'm not a massive Ameritrash gamer, to be absolutely frank, but I do like a good dungeon crawl. I do like Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff. And Cora wanted to make a dungeon crawler because at the time I'd been playing a lot of D&D with my friends, and she'd sat in on some. She hadn't played, but she'd been in the room while that was going on, and she wanted that kind of game. So I thought, okay, that's the way we're going to go then, rather than a Euro game. And I've got no idea what I was going to say then. What? No, I've gone. Sorry. No.
You were talking about the probabilities, about increasing the chances of hitting.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So one of the things that people criticise is that, but if the game's too easy, there's no tension. And the best thing about Coraquest, in my opinion, is those moments where everyone's suddenly standing up. And I hear about this because I know it happens right near the end, where it's going to all hinge on a couple of dice rolls, and there's that excitement. If an Ameritrash dice rolling game is too easy, then there's no excitement. There's no point in playing because it's too easy. But the really difficult thing with a kids game is how do you balance that? Because some kids are going to go absolutely bananas and just run off and get all the treasure and just not care about anything, and then some kids are going to be really, really cautious. And things like that. So you have to sort of hand that balancing thing over to the parents, which a lot of people don't like, and I can understand why they don't like it. But there's an element of, and this is why I say this to Mark. This is why it's never probably going to be a massive breakout game, because he says, "Oh yeah, let's get it in Target. Let's do, it could be in supermarkets." Now This is where we all find out I'm not very good at marketing Coraquest. I don't think it's a game for people who aren't already gamers. I think it's a game for gamers to play with their kids. Or I think if you've never played a board game before, if you've never played anything but Monopoly, it's quite a big ask to get you to, jump in and play. I mean, the rules are simple,
Yeah.
But it's that kind of almost curating it for your kids as well. I'm not saying all I'm not saying all the responsibility is there, because there's a lot of it in the rule book and stuff. But you still know your kids better than anyone else. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That was probably I should.
No, I think I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you there.
Yeah,
Dan.
okay, that's fine.
I think it's a very accessible game, but you are right. It does. The parents do need to kind of chaperone the kids playing it, because they know them best and what they're going to get out of it. I think you do need that, but I think more kids should play it. I think personally, I do honestly think this is a game that should be on every shelf in every kid's house.
Well, that would be quite nice financially.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
I mean, you don't make a lot of board games. You don't make a lot of money from royalties, but every kid in the world's house, I think that'll be all right.
I'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I could probably retire a couple of. Cora probably wouldn't need to pay for university anyway at that point. But yeah. Well, that's what I should say then. Yeah. Oh no, every kid can play this, and I do think every kid can play it. And it's just like you wouldn't hand a copy of even Wingspan to someone who's never. You'd want to guide them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's a good example. Yeah, you got to, when you're exposing people to board games for the first time, you do need to curate their experience.
Yeah,
and that's whether they're an adult, a teenager, a child, or like with my mom. If I wanted to play a game with her, I wouldn't throw her in with Wingspan. I'd probably start a little bit lighter.
And what you wouldn't do is give her a box of Coraquest and expect her to learn the rules and then guide a kid through
exactly.
it. That's I suppose what I'm saying. I don't believe. Well, I obviously believe in gateway games, but some people's gateway games can be Agricola, because some people can just get it, but some people don't, and it's not a failing within them. It's just they need to be brought into the hobby, and to hand that responsibility over to a parent. Lots of people bought it for their sisters, brothers, for their nieces and things like that. And I've had feedback from them people that they kind of looked at the rule book and go, and put it away. Now, it's actually quite a good rule book, I'd argue, and actually quite simple, but that's in comparison to other board games, I suppose.
I suppose if you compare it to something like Hungry Hippos, you can take Hungry Hippos out of the box and you can kind of just guess how to play that, and you're probably going to be right. Yeah. It does need a bit more of investing, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I think you get a better reward out of it as well, and I think it's a rewarding game. But yeah, so yeah.
Well, I think we can definitely talk about Coraquest.
Oh, I apologise. Yeah.
I was thrilled to hear about it, to be honest, because that's part of the reason we wanted you on, was to talk about this wonderful experience of making games with your kids.
Yeah. Well, I recommend it to anybody, and certainly. I'm not sure I recommend Kickstarter to anybody, because that's a stressful experience. And I tell you what, Cora wasn't involved with a great deal of that, which I object to. She's got a load of share of the money, and I had to do all the Kickstarter stuff. But anyway, but no, that was quite a pleasurable experience in other ways as well. But to be honest, that was quite cool, because we used to go for these regular meetings. Where I used to take her out for an ice cream, and we used to do things like, I used to show her pictures of where the game was being made, or talk to her about which factory we were going to do, and at one point we were looking at various ships and what the routes they were taking. So it was all kind of really kind of interesting stuff. Do you know what I mean?
That had a very real world application for her.
And at the end of it
wasn't just this, here's China.
Yeah,
this is where your game's being made.
Exactly, and obviously I didn't kind of say, okay, so which. Well, actually, I did. We were talking about kind of what kind of quality card we were looking at and all that kind of stuff. So just all that kind of stuff, really. So she was involved in kind of manufacturing to a lesser extent. Her primary thing was the. And the other thing she wasn't massively involved in, although was a little bit, was the play testing. Because if there's one good way of ruining your experience of designing a board game, it's going through the play testing process, I can tell you. By the end of it, you're absolutely sick to the back teeth of whatever. It doesn't matter what game it is. You're sick to the back teeth of it. So I didn't put her through I put her through some. We did some play testing, and any kind of major iterations, she had the final say at all times. I can't remember. There was a decision that she made that I still think's the wrong one. Line of sight. She was insistent on having line of sight in it, and I was saying, can't we just not have line of sight? She says, no, because that man that orc can't see that man, so he can't shoot him. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have to have line of sight in it. Fair enough. So
it's solid rules.
It's as easy as we could make it, but line of sight's a little bit complicated. Whereas if you could just say can hit something 3 squares away, it's just a lot easier. I think it's probably a better game for it because it adds tactics to the game. So it is a better. She was right, but that was something we disagreed on. But she always had the kind of final say.
Final say, because it's her name on the box.
And my name on the box. Just like to point out, I helped it. I did it as well. That's why I designed a second game. Then I had to co-design it with somebody else, so that didn't even help. Someone less mature as well. But anyway, that's my other game coming out shortly. I made you a mixtape, not
made you a mixtape. Yes, I'm aware of it.
Yeah. So it's on the ships at the moment. So So she had always had the final say, but she wasn't massively involved in the playtesting because, to be honest, most of that was done online for a start on Tabletop Simulator because this was height of COVID. This was like,
of course it was. I was going to ask how you managed to do it.
Yeah. So there was so a lot of it was done online. Not as much of it was done with kids as I'd like to be honest. So that was a little bit risky, but it was quite difficult to. I kind of sent print and play things to people and things. But the problem with sending things to people is they say they're going to do it and then they don't. You know, this is this, and you can't blame them for that. So I sent a lot. The expansion got a lot more playtests with a lot more families because I was able to send that out and there was already a box and it was people I knew who were into the game and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot easier to get that play tested. And to be honest, it was easier to play test. There was less changes needed because this. It's kind of more of the same as the expansion, other than the campaign rules, but it's more of the same. So it's just like, do these adventures work rather than does this system work? But so playtesting was a little bit tricky. So I had a core group of people, and then various very kind people printed, like as I say, Chris Yee printed it out and played it with his daughter, and various people like that. So the playtesting was a bit difficult, but I didn't make her sit through all that. She had a few it was. She did one in every 10 playtests that I did, perhaps, because as I say, no 8-year-olds.
That's the work bit of it, isn't it? The creative process.
So I did all the work. She took all the glory, and
and that's what parenting is, really, isn't it?
Is it though?
Yeah, parenting is thankless. Nobody goes, thank you.
I thought it was about kind of getting them to. I'm sure it was about me making them cups of tea when I was a kid. So I don't know where this switch around came from. And the other thing is, when did it switch from you had to listen to what your parents listening to in the car to you have to listen to what the kids want to listen to in the car?
Oh.
It must have been when I was about 25, because I tell you what, I didn't get to listen to what I wanted to listen to when I was a teenager. Now I don't get to listen to what I want to listen to as an adult.
That's a very good. I hadn't even noticed that.
I know the answer to this. It's when we moved to streaming services, because before then all we had was a cassette tape, and your dad didn't let you put the cassette tape in.
Could
he
be.
was listening to Radio 4.
Radio 4, exactly. Yeah. All the way down to Grandad's house, which was a 5-hour drive.
It was torturous. You were in the back, no Walkman, no headphones, no switch.
Radio 4, the Archers.
I'm still haunted by that theme tune.
I'm still scared. Yeah. Now I've got to listen to whatever. I don't know. I don't understand don't understand their music at all.
There's a lot of shouting in their music. I don't like it.
Yeah, no.
I'm not about it. Logan and Marley, they're quite like they've got a really eclectic mix. There's a Viking band called Skull that they like.
Oh, they're really good, Skull are.
I was like, that comes up on. I've got a kids playlist that comes up quite often.
Very good,
which isn't too bad.
No, They Might Be Giants have got a fantastic kids album. If anyone's called, he's got a number of ones, but No, it's one of the best albums ever made for children. So I recommend that highly. They Might Be Giants,
as in the opposite to yes, or
as in the opposite.
In
the opposite to No. How old are your kids? Sorry.
8. Oh, hang on. They're very, very nearly 9 and 7.
Yeah, so they're probably a little bit old. This is like for not preschool, but the littler ones. But yeah, anyone out there with kids, No is a fantastic album by They Might Be Giants. So there you go.
So I was going to ask. So Cora is 13 now. Is she gaming with you still? No. Oh no. No hesitation. There's no sometimes about that.
No. Like all my kids, there's an arc. Like all my kids, they are really into gaming until around 10, 11. Then absolutely not, and then return to the fold around 16.
Oh, right, okay. What the am I going to do with all these games? I've got loads of them.
It'll just be me and you playing them, mate. That's what it'll be.
Yeah, it will be.
Well, my son's now 18, and he's a massive gamer. He goes to cons with me.
Oh, brilliant.
He plays. He doesn't anymore because he's got a job, but he used to play my regular board game night, which is a really weird dynamic because you're sitting there. I'm guessing you guys are the same, but I'm not the most PG-13 person when I'm playing board games. And then you've got your son sitting there laughing at your very dubious jokes about people's relationships with dogs and things like that. And you're thinking, I'm not sure this is quite appropriate. I don't know if I'm doing lasting damage here. I mean, he is 18, but still, I am his father. So yeah, no, that's been lovely. Evan's a massive gamer. My eldest daughter, and this is one of the things that you were going to discuss, wasn't it? About how to keep kids gaming. You had on your thing. I'm not again, by no means an expert, but I have made a number of mistakes in my life, which I'm happy to share with people. And one of my biggest mistakes was with my eldest daughter, because my eldest daughter is now 21, but she was kind of 8 when I was really getting into gaming. And you know that point when you're really getting into gaming, it's just completely taken over every kind of thought process you've got, and you're buying all these games that, 5 years later I saw a photo of my board game shelf on a kind of Facebook. Remember when I thought I haven't got any of these games anymore.
I had one of those come up recently as well. I had the exact same thought. They've all gone.
Yeah, it's like Flashpoint Fire Rescue. What's that about? But yeah. So I was kind of almost. I don't want to say forcing, but I was imposing my hobby onto her, and she went from enjoying it to feeling like it was an obligation. I've got to go and play games with my dad now, to actively hating board games, and she never really got past that. She's probably the least board gamery amongst us. She does enjoy playing board games, but generally when there's more people than just me and our family, she likes going to cons, but she likes going to cons because she likes socializing with people and things like that. But yeah, so I made that massive mistake there. So I kind of drove her away by trying to force my hobby onto her, really, rather than let her come to it, which is a mistake I didn't make with Cora. Basically, if Cora didn't want to play a game, we didn't play a game. If we did want to play a game, then I'm happy to play games with her. And that really is much more healthy, a dynamic. And if your kid, again, I don't want to bring, the great and mighty Tom Vassell back into it, but I've heard him talk about this before. That he's got some kids that do love playing board games and some kids that don't, and he just doesn't bother trying to. He does other things with the kids with them.
Yeah.
Because if you try and push somebody into your hobby, you're going to push them out the other side.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a slightly disappointing answer to that question, isn't it? That kind of
would just be easier if they liked everything I liked. That
exactly. Yeah.
But kids are supposed to dislike us a little bit.
Exactly. Well, this is what happens when they're 10, 11. That's what it is. I'm convinced of it. It's the rejection. It's not even a rejection, is it? It's the forging their own way. And, and your friends suddenly start becoming. I was talking about this with my brother the other day. I can't remember his existence between the ages of when I was 12 and 16. I can't remember him existing in my life because my entire life was my friends.
So that's a very good point. Actually, I can't remember my brother either.
No.
I know he was there.
Yeah, he must have been.
I know he existed.
Yeah. I don't remember him being shipped off anywhere, but I just can't remember his existence.
No.
Yeah. I only remember my parents because occasionally they
fed you.
They fed me and told me off. Took me on holiday I didn't want to go on. But that's
to Grandad's, listen to the Archers.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they took you for a walk around a museum.
Yeah, exactly. How dare they?
How dare they take us to see culture?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's just a natural thing, and some kids do keep on gaming, but that's under their own volition. I think rather than anything you've done. I think I reckon your important years are the kind of 0 to 8, 9 years, and after that you're hoping you've got a solid enough base.
Yeah, you've got them hooked. Yeah.
To move onwards. Yeah.
So what for you with yours then, or what would you recommend is like a really good hook game to get your kids into?
Depends on their age, doesn't it? Really. I think there's. No. Well, I'll tell you my go-to game that I've never had fail with any kid, and this includes kids in the board game club that we used to have. So it's an old game because, to be honest, I'm not up to speed on the kids' games of these days. Is Outfoxed. So have you played Outfoxed?
I've not played it. I know of it though, but I've never tried it.
It's a deduction game where you're trying to find out. You're a bunch of chickens trying to find out which fox did something. It can't possibly be murdered one of your friends, but it can it?
Maybe hope not. No,
that sounds a bit overly Disney for a game, doesn't it?
Yeah. Although it's interesting, going back to Coraquest, obviously, because that's the obviously most important thing. The decision because you're fighting and defeating monsters in Coraquest, and so we always call it defeated. You're never killing anybody. You're always defeated.
Never killed, yeah.
You don't. And to tell you what, the only people who pay any attention to that are adults, because the kids are all killing him. I stab him in the face. I slice his throat open. All that kind of stuff. Whereas all the kind of adults going, he's defeated and he runs away, or all that kind of stuff.
Oh, he's fallen over.
He's fallen over. Yeah. He's gone to sleep, and the little kids are saying, "I stamp on his neck." At least that's what happened in my experience.
It's very similar to ours.
Yeah.
It's very similar to us. But as soon as they get a splinter, it's the world has ended.
Exactly, yeah.
Or someone else gets one, it's even worse. I can seal my brother's blood. Okay.
So Outfox is a deduction game. It's quite a mainstream game. You can get it. I think you can even get it in Tesco's, and it's very mainstream. But it wasn't when it first came out. It's just so good. It's and you've got it's got a little toy thing, so you have to open a thing to check whether a fox has done it or not, and you basically ruling out various things. The other games I think are really good. There's a game called Wizardry to the Power of 3. And
I've never heard of that.
You see, I could be out there. The problem with kids' games is, unlike adults' games, they don't really evergreen. Do you know what I mean? Which is not a good thing when it comes to Coraquest either. But they kind of, especially for smaller kids, new ones come out and they don't seem to stick around a lot. But the thing I like about Wizardry to the Power 3, it's I can't remember what company it is. It's a German game. It's a memory game which kids are naturally better than adults at, and it's a cooperative game. So kids are better than you at it and are carrying you all the way through it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So they get the power, if that makes any sense, because you genuinely are rubbish at it, or certainly I am, and they genuinely are good at it. So it's not even like you're pretending you're bad at it. It's not. They know that, Dad's an absolute
they
buffoon.
know you got absolutely.
You've got no clue. I can't remember. Again, I'm going to struggle to remember the rules, but basically it's kind of you're picking up things. It's a bit like memory. You're picking up things, looking at it, putting it down, seeing if you can remember where it was, all that kind of stuff. It's more complex than that. It's got nicer bits than that, and it's got you're trying to race to. I think if you want to move into a square, you have to pick up the symbol with that square on. I think that's right. The rules. And again, we're talking for games for like 5 or 6 year olds here. We're not talking older than that. But because they can so much better at it than you, and it's a cooperative game, they get to have that power. And I think that's really important in a kid's game. And I think it's quite rare that a kid feels that powerful and the ability to carry their parent in a game. So that's a really good game. Any memory game is good. There's the other memory games where the kids can beat you. They also love that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. They like that. Concept Kids. Have you ever played Concept Kids?
I do enjoy Concept. I've played the adults version of Concepts.
Yeah. So Concept Kids is basically only animals.
Okay.
And so you're basically putting little tokens down on things. So what colour's its skin? Is it spiky? Has it got 4 legs? All that kind of stuff. And that's a lot of fun. And the good thing about that, especially for this board game group that we used to do, is that kids can drop in and out of it. And that's great for kids with poor attention spans and things like that. So if you've got a game that they can come and just do a couple of things and then wander off, or stay for the whole session. So Concept Kids is great as well. There's bound to be some really, really good ones that I don't know of because I've, as Cora's aged, I've not really kept.
You're not keeping up with it.
No.
It just gets a bit weird if you're playing games with 8-year-olds, hasn't it? Now.
Yeah. Although it would be all right if I still did this kids board game clubs. But as I say, that kind of died after COVID. During COVID, I gave away a lot of my younger kids' games. I had this day. I'm a community nurse, so I was allowed to drive around anyway. And I kind of messaged the group and said, look, because I used to review kids' games for the Dice Tower, I used to get some free kids' games, which is absolutely fantastic. So I used to go to Essen and then come back with a massive haul of kids' games. So I ended up with loads of games for kind of kids between kind of 4 and 8, which I wasn't going to play because Cora had outgrown them. And I was keeping them for the library for this kids group. But because of COVID, basically I spent an entire day driving around Huddersfield like Santa Claus, dropping off big piles of board games at various people's houses.
So that keeps them entertained during COVID.
Yeah, and it just got them out of my house as well, to be honest. But it meant that my board game library is gone, and now my daughter's 21 thinking, God, I mean, it's not out of the question that I could be a grandfather. I mean, hopefully not soon, but I might be, so I should have kept...
Yeah.
So I'll go round them all, demand them back.
Get them back.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the memory. I never knew that was a fact, that kids just had better memory than adults.
Well, I'm not saying
I just
everybody.
thought I was rubbish.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, kids, their brain is attuned to learning things, isn't it?
I suppose, yeah. It makes perfect sense. Now I actually apply some thought to it.
Yeah.
Because I always thought a lot of board games, a lot of kids' board games, the more mainstream ones, all have a lot of memory in them.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is that? I find that a really boring mechanism.
Yeah.
And I was playing Sandcastles.
It's because you're rubbish at it, mate.
It's because I'm rubbish at it, yeah. But I was playing Sandcastles of Burgundy recently with Logan, and I'm a big Stefan Feld fan, so I was really excited to play like a junior version of Castles of Burgundy. And it has like this big memory element to the game. And I'm like, I don't like this because I was rubbish at it.
Yeah.
But Logan really loved it. And that's why, because he was just naturally better.
So it can be really hard to find a game. And that's the other thing that sorry to keep going back to it. It's the other thing we wanted to do with Coraquest. It can be really hard to find a game that an adult and a child can have the same level of enjoyment out of and play play at the same level. So that's where the memory games do fall down a little bit. And below a certain age, there's no possible way you can get the same level of enjoyment because it needs to be such a simple game. The other thing that really irritates me, and it doesn't happen so much anymore, is that people always used to. I don't know if you guys have done it, so I apologise if you did. But all these reviewers and stuff used to recommend Animal Upon Animal.
Oh, Christ,
yeah.
And the reason they do that is because they think kids like those games. They don't like those games because kids, as good as they are at memory, their fine motor skills are rubbish because they've not developed them better enough. So all these stacking games and things like that, people think, they got great toy factor, they're really fun, you can stack them all. You still need to be old enough to be able to do that. It's like Rhino Hero. It's a great game, but you can't play it with too young because they're just rubbish at it, and it's really frustrating. So all these reviewers used to say, "What's the best?" And they always used to say, "Animal Upon Animal," and it's because in America, Haber only had a few games out in America, and Animal Upon Animal was one of them. So they liked saying, I've got the. The Haber, a board game is, all this exclusivity type stuff. Oh, very special.
It's German, don't you know?
Oh, yeah, pretty German. And that was a real thing, 15 years ago, wasn't it? It was it was very elitist, all this kind of, a German board game. Now it's Japanese. I'm going to import this one from Japan.
You're so right. You're so
I'm not
right.
pointing any fingers at anybody. Mike DeLisio. But yeah. So now it's Japanese games, but back then it was German. But yeah, so they just, I don't know, they just instantly went to Animal Upon Animal. I used to scream at the podcast I was listening to say, no, it's rubbish, it's not any good for kids. So yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Animal Upon Animal. I would no. I think I had that. It was one of those games that was bought for Logan when he was little.
Yeah.
But he just liked playing with them as animals.
Yeah, which is absolutely fine. But it's a rubbish game. Well, it's not a rubbish game. It's just a rubbish game for kids. What games do you recommend for kids then? Sorry,
Right now, I've been enjoying Under the Mango Tree. With the children,
that's
it came out this year at the Expo from Pegasus Spiel, and I play that almost every week with the kids. We go out and sit on the patio with our hot dogs and corn on the cobs and play Under the Mango Tree. It's just a little drafting tableau builder, basically.
Right.
And you've got a tree, and you're trying to put lorikeets and mangoes in it, and then you're trying to get mammals and mammalians to kind of mate, so you need pairs or triples of them, a swarm of bees. But it's a really simple draft game. You're going to upside or downside of the card, and you're just trying to build up the best scoring mechanism you've got of your tableau. But the kids absolutely love it. Fantastic art, light rules, and there's loads of maths in it, which Logan and Marley are very good at maths, so they love like a kind of computing the optimal score with every hand of cards they get.
It has got nice art, hasn't it? I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. It's that not quite isometric. I don't know how to describe it actually, but that's why I just picked it up because the kids look. My children love animals and animal-based games and TV shows and stuff like that, and it had cool art, so I picked it up not knowing anything about it. Sat down in the family zone with Sid and
we had a couple of kids.
The mob that you were with. We were just looking for a sit. To be honest, we were just trying to take a break because we were knackered from walking, and sat down and taught this game, and their kids loved it.
Family Zone, that's Imagination Gaming. They're from Huddersfield as well, or certainly used to be.
What are they?
Yeah. The guy who runs it, Nigel, used to own the Huddersfield co-own the Huddersfield board game shop where I used to run my kids board game group. So there you go. Not that he was involved in that, but yeah.
No, we played that Under the Mango Tree, and Logan turned around to me and was like, "Go and buy this now, Dad."
This, Daddy.
Oh,
yes.
Well, yeah. The other one I like is the elephant one. The one where you're walking a plank with elephants. What's this called?
Oh, Stomp the Plank.
Stomp the Plank.
One of the best games in the world.
Oh,
that's a good one for kids.
That's an excellent game, that is.
Flavian wouldn't let me get away without mentioning that, so I'm glad.
No, I think Sid was chomping at the bit to mention that.
I love it. Well, weirdly, with Jai, Ticket to Ride has been the most successful game I can keep him.
He loves that, doesn't he?
Absolutely loves it, and I can't explain why, but he beats his mum. He is better at that game at 8-year-old than his mum.
He beats you as well, though, doesn't he, Sid?
I'm cooking tea. I'm doing more than one thing. I'm not really giving it my full attention, mate.
Does he play ruthlessly and everyone else doesn't play ruthlessly? Because there's two ways of playing Ticket to Ride, isn't there? There's nicely and there's viciously.
He's quite aggressive. He knows that he's good. He just focuses on that long ticket.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what's going to happen anywhere else. That's the ticket he's going to get. And once he's got that, then he'll go from a coast to coast.
Right.
And that's his strategy, and it works. He just bangs them down, and he just keeps putting them. He's an absolute machine at it.
It's a good game.
I haven't played Ticket to Ride in absolute years.
It's a great game, right? But you don't often play it. I think it kind of ages itself out a little bit. You start on it as a gateway game, and then you stop playing it. But every couple of months, 3 months, within 3 months, we'll probably have it out on the table at some point.
Well, he brings it up every time I come over, doesn't he? Because I think he's dying
wants to beat you
at that game. Yeah,
yes, he does.
I'll tell you what game went down really well on a recent family holiday for us, and people will not be impressed with this because it's a very mainstream game, sort of. It's the Taskmaster party game.
Oh, yes, I've played this.
Yeah.
So you have to run around the house.
You have to run around the house, be the first person to sneeze. I was snorting pepper. And that really worked. That really works. Mainly if your kids watch Taskmaster, and probably you have to be a bad parent like me and just let your kids watch Taskmaster, even though it's a little bit filthy at times. So it's like, yeah, whatever, don't matter. But yeah. So that really, and kids do like party games as well, as long as it's not based on knowledge. Ones where it's even. Basically, any game where a kid can have an equal chance as an adult. That's what you want to be aiming for. So whether that's because of simplified rules, whether it's because the mechanics suit kids more, or whether it's because it's just so silly, it does, and random, a bit like Walk the Plank, that really you don't need that deep strategical effort.
No, you don't. It's just this gamble, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just push your luck. It's push your luck distilled down to its finest thing in the world. With
a very silly little kind of physical toy type element. It's a great game.
Yeah, it's superb.
I was one of the first people in the UK to play that game. I'd just like to say, round at Flavian Losers' house. I'm just, I'm a pretty big deal on the internet,
Pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal in the board gaming world. And Huddersfield is the centre of the board gaming universe, as we're quickly finding out. That's the other reason I made Coraquest, because I don't know if you're aware of my campaign to put Huddersfield on the board gaming map.
No? Is that a thing? Sorry, I didn't know. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. I haven't done it for a while because I've actually done it now. But I went through this whole phase of writing to designers, trying to persuade. I did some videos.
To move to Huddersfield?
No, to have Huddersfield-themed board games.
Oh, right, okay. That's probably easier than asking Knizia to move to Huddersfield.
When we're done, I'll send you a video list of. I entertained myself with it, basically. I sent these crackpot letters to Jamie Stegmaier saying the next scythe should be set in Huddersfield because we have a tractor factory here, and to Martin Wallace about brass, and Stephen Bonicore. I've actually become friends with Stephen Bonicore. Well, whatever. I'm not saying he's not my friend, but he says we're great friends. It's like, well, I've talked to you twice, Stephen. But anyway, he likes net dropping. He knows everybody, Stephen. Because what about Terraforming Mars? And no, it wasn't Terraforming Mars. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, he said he was going to set the next one in Terraforming Huddersfield, and he's going to raise Huddersfield to the ground and rebuild it better and all this kind of stuff. I'll send you the videos. It's very brilliant. I amused myself with it. So I had this long-running campaign, letter-writing campaign about putting Huddersfield on the board gaming map, because there was only one board game that was set in Huddersfield. That's Canal Mania by the Ragnar brothers, which was released in 1985 or something like that. Who I actually was, they come from Huddersfield, and I was actually in an amateur dramatics group with one of them as well, which was quite exciting.
Right, okay.
They did the most recent one they did was it DR Congo? They're like a really kind of bespoke type. Back when board gaming was like two men printing out in their garage and taking all the copies they had to Tony Boydell type times.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's beside the point. So Huddersfield's the centre of the board gaming universe, and now Coraquest is in, because obviously Coraquest is set in Huddersfield. I don't know if you're aware of this, which is the old dwarven name for Huddersfield. So that's. So I said that once. Someone said, "Is that true?" I said, "No, it's not true. No, there's no such things as dwarves." That's a joke. And my new game, I Made You a Mixtape, that's mentioned in Huddersfield as well. So my campaign was so successful that the designer, I've never met him, of Baseball Highlights, is it 40?
Oh yeah.
He did
What's his name? Is it?
I can't remember. I should know, shouldn't I? Anyway, he did a Football Highlights one, and one of his teams was a Huddersfield team.
Oh,
so it was American football, but Huddersfield turned up in it just to throw me a bone, basically. So,
oh, that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah. So sorry, I made it about myself again, which obviously
no. That's what you are our special guest, sir. So you can make
it's my ideal environment. On my own podcast, Mike objects to when he's all about him, and he's I'm on the dice tower. Blah, blah, blah. He was nothing when I first met him, Mike Delisio. He was nothing. He was a nobody.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stand by this now. We will never have Mike Delisio on a Ramshackle episode.
Well, I'm sure he'd come on. I bet he would have come on today if he wasn't involved in. No,
we're going to be a Dan Hughes exclusive.
Excellent. Excellent. That's all right. Now, any chance to talk about himself? But yeah.
Do we have any giant questions on here? From this huge list of questions?
I feel like we've kind of touched on most of them in one way or another already.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's beautiful. That's what we were after.
You've very naturally just covered everything on our list that I want to talk about. Really,
I think the one thing we should talk about is kids and their emotions.
Oh yeah,
that's what we should touch on. We should touch on how do you deal with kids that don't like losing.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? And I don't have a great deal of experience because being Hughes, all my kids are very used to being losers. So
I'm just being so wonderful. My kids are used to it.
Yeah. No, not for me, but just kind of our general. Our family motto is, but it'll probably go wrong. So yeah. No, I don't know. The classic answer to that question is cooperative games, isn't it? But my son used to like competitive games, but didn't like cooperative games because he got too anxious about letting other people down.
That's an interesting twist.
Yeah. So it all depends on the kid. He didn't mind losing if it was just him, but he got really anxious about being the weakest player and letting other people down, which is a lovely character trait in him, I suppose. But it's not nice to have any kid anxious, really. So it's all depending on the kids. But there are some kids who really don't like losing. I'm loath to let them win. I do let kids win, but not in order to save a tantrum.
No.
It's a. I don't know. Go on. What's the answer? You two raised it.
Well,
I think Sid, have you got a funny story to tell about this?
Well, we could the Flick Fleet one.
The Flick Fleet, that didn't go down well.
No, it didn't go down. But that was because I think that comes back to the dexterity thing that Dan's talking about. It just doesn't. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You can't be good at it.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Right, and it's a really frustrating thing, especially if you're playing with, you were playing with Jai, who had that dexterity. So he was flicking these little. If you've not played it, Dan, it's a little space battling game where you're flicking dice across the table at each spaceships, basically. And Jai just got it. He was loving it. He wanted to play more and more. And 5 minutes into the first game, I think Logan was basically flipped the table.
Yeah, Logan was
I'm out.
Trying his hardest. He'd flick it and it'd just roll to the next face, and then try it again and it'd ping off a wall on the other side of the room. And of course, it didn't take long for Jai to just utterly destroy all his ships. Yeah. So Logan was like, I don't want to play this. Walked into the room and then randomly punched an armchair. In so much rage, and then hurt his hand and went upstairs crying. And I was like, I try not to laugh, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, no, it's all right. It's just a game, and we'll never play it again.
But I think the answer to it though is you got to let them ride it out. Yeah. I mean, it's all right. It's all right to be angry at it. I mean, they just need to. They're kids. They need to have that blowout sometimes. I think, and the more we try and put a lid back on their emotion, the more I think it festers and boils up in a different way. So if Jai's not enjoying a game, like you said earlier, Dan, I'm not going to force him to sit there and do it. Just get up, mate, go and find something else you want to do.
It's not. I mean, I think ultimately bad losing, is all about self-esteem, isn't it? That's ultimately what's the core of it. So it's difficult to say you can solve that because everybody has to work on their self-esteem at their own pace and things like that. And it's an important skill that everyone has to learn. So games can be really valuable in teaching that skill. But I don't think you can isolate it and say, how can you make someone a good winner or a good loser without saying, how can you positively impact somebody's self-esteem? Do you know what I mean? I think it's a much wider issue than just gaming, and I think if you just try and isolate it down to it's a symptom rather than a cause, isn't it? Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I think that's probably the most intelligent thing we've ever had said on the Collider podcast.
Well, as I say, I don't know if you're aware, but I'm, quite a big deal.
You're a pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal. I am. I published a board game, So yeah, no. I think that's
his name's on the box somewhere.
I think it goes beyond board gaming, and I think it is a symptom rather than symptom rather than the thing in itself. But I think board gaming is an incredibly valuable way of helping kids develop that and learning in a very safe environment. Because I mean, it isn't like play, the entire concept of play, it's about learning life skills in a safe environment, isn't it?
Safe environment.
That's what play is. It's rough and tumble is about learning fighting in a safe environment. I mean, I know we don't need to fight these days, but it's still that kind of.
It's still got urge. You almost got an urge to do it. They do say that, don't they? That you need to have play fights with, especially with boys. I think they need to burn off that energy, and they need to do it in a really safe,
in a safe environment. So board gaming is incredibly valuable for that. I think the worst thing you could do is give into it every single time. But I'm not saying that if you know your child's got a big problem with it, there's nothing wrong with avoiding that big blow up. So playing a cooperative game or playing a game that they're good at. Some people, I've heard people talk about kind of you afterwards. You kind of say, "Oh, what went well for you there? What didn't go well for you?" Finding some way of getting value out of that experience without putting all the emphasis on winning, and I think that's very useful as well. So you see, the problem is I'm such a idiot. And find myself so amusing that when I win games at kids, I'll go, in your face, you suck, and all that stuff. Now my kids don't mind that because they used to ignoring me, but some of the kids don't take very kindly to that. So that was a lesson I learned at the board game club. I tell you that much.
You can't do that to other people's children.
No, you can't do that to other people's children. Getting their head and ramming it down to the board and rubbing it. What a loser! You loser! Bet you wet the bed, don't you? No, don't do that.
No, fair enough. See, I do think it's a situation where I don't know whether they're quite lucky that Logan, other than that one blowout, seems to be actually okay with losing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we played in the Footsteps of Darwin, which is a light family game, a really, really lovely game. And I was playing that with Logan and my daughter Marley. She doesn't like board games at all, but she was interested in this one because of the theme. And she gets to a point in the game where she's starting to sulk a little bit because she's so far behind in the scores. And I remember Logan looked over at her tableau, her book, and was like, if you get that chameleon, though, if you move the ship twice and get the chameleon, put it there, you'll complete a row and a column, and you'll get 2 bonuses, and it will give you a compass. And he did all this. So she did this thing, and then she ended up actually storming a win. And Logan very knowingly just gave away like 15 points to her so that she could enjoy the game. And he lost. He took that bullet so that his little sister could play it and enjoy it and get the win. And I was like, that's awesome. That's I don't know how I raised that, but
well, exactly. That's where you don't go. Oh, what a good kid! You say, what a good parent I am, aren't I?
Oh, I'm brilliant!
Fantastic. Yeah. No, there is that, and also kind of looking over the tableau and saying, oh, that's because they can find value in other parts of the game. So, like with that's amazing. I wanted that parrot. I really like the look of that parrot or whatever, And like a lot of these games, especially the ones where you're tableau building, or if you can kind of come up with a narrative about what you're doing, and there's I don't know if you played Let's Go to Japan. Now Cora played that with me recently, and she really liked that. But the thing she really liked about it was we were narrating what we were doing, so coming up with a narrative and building something. Because one of the joys of board gaming for me is building something, whether that be a strategy or whether that be something in front of me on the board. It's that creation, which is why I don't take that stuff, because I don't like people wandering me over and booting my sandcastle down. I don't mind losing, but I don't like losing if someone's just stuck their foot firmly in my tableau. So if you can create that kind of narrative and the kind of alternative positivity from playing the game, not just the end result being winning, and I suppose I suppose maybe that's how you introduce games to kids. So right from the beginning, if you're talking about how much you enjoyed playing it rather than who won or lost, then that kind of ego thing.
You're shifting the focus.
You're shifting the focus a little bit. So maybe that's. And that could just come naturally. And to be honest, I suspect parents who have kids who aren't bad losers, some of that might be that they accidentally stumbled into that way of playing a game and in kind of emphasising the enjoyment in the game rather than the win or loss. But, kids are still developing, aren't they? You can't, that's what happens. They're just, they're little balls of fury sometimes. And they're still working out what life is and how you react and things like that. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so profound, Dan. I think you're too intelligent to go on this podcast, mate. You're bringing too much wisdom to this.
Yeah, well, I can't think of anything.
You're a pretty big deal.
I can't think of anything profound to say other than to pretend to toot my own horn again, and that joke's got a bit old now. People start thinking I actually believe it, so I need to go easy.
Just looking at the time now, gents, I think we've been recording for about an hour. Mm-hmm. So
all right.
if there's
I haven't pressed record.
burning we want to talk about.
Everything's heart is just stopped.
I thought we were going to do claps and stuff at the beginning. Is that not what we're doing? Oh, we did.
Oh, that would be mint. The gaffer would be raging at us. You would have to do that to him,
Just all that worry and stress that I'm going to balls this up without Steve here. Oh my goodness! Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
No, it's all right. We once when I was doing This Game Is Broken, which is a podcast I did ages ago. We had Eric Sumner on, and I was really excited by having Eric on because he was a big deal and all that kind of stuff. And I was really worried something was going to go wrong there. I was, you kind of, but no, don't care. Don't care now.
No, you're just old hat at this.
I'm just old hat. Yeah. I know all these people. They're nothing special. So.
Right then, gentlemen, shall we draw this to a close then?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
Could I plug my latest game just before we do?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Go on, tell us about this, actually. Go on. What?
So I've designed this with Mike DeLisio off of the Dice Tower, who's, as I said, has been my friend for a long time now, 10 years now. And I knew him before he was famous. And let me tell you, it annoys me greatly that he's this big deal now, and I'm a nobody, and he's all, I'm in the Dice Tower. Not that he says that. So I also have a podcast with him, by the way, Sporadically Board, in case you're interested.
You do?
It's only very occasional, because Mike's too busy. Anyway.
Too busy on the Dice Tower.
So you're going everywhere. He went to Japan recently. Anyway, it's called I Made You a Mixtape. It's not a kid's game, but Cora has recently said it's her favourite game. So so it's certainly a family game. You certainly can play it with families. And it's about making a mixtape out of cassettes of and it's a I Split You Choose game where you're. It's been so long since I played it because it's been about 6 months since I played it because again, as I say, threw it in the corner once I'd finished playtesting it. And then said I'm never going to play this thing again. But it's coming out very soon. Basically, it's on ships at the moment. It will be available on the All Play store. They're partnering with us to be our kind of distributors. Mike's company called Massive Asterix Games. He's got a few other ones in the works, including one that I helped co-design again, about the Luddites, which are a Huddersfield movement, or certainly part of the Huddersfield movement. I Made You a Mixtape. It's I Split You Choose game about creating a mixtape. It's got loads of fantastic songs in it from the 90s and 80s, and you're basically I-splitting you choosing to create your own cassette tape. I don't have a spiel prepared, which you may find that quite obvious by the fact I've forgotten what the game's about. But it's very good, and it's quite cheap, and it's coming to a online store near you soon. So there you go.
We'll be sure to check that out because I think we're all of an age where we remember making mixtapes.
Exactly. It's a nostalgic trip down memory lane. Have you got like the rights for are they genuine bands and songs?
They
are genuine bands, they are genuine songs. We haven't put the band names next to it in the vague hope they're not going to sue us. Now, as far as we can tell, and this has been extensive search on the internet, you can't trademark song names or even band names,
right?
Because and if you think about it, Trivial Pursuit is full of song names, book titles, all that kind of stuff. And all the internet lawyers we consulted said you can't do it. So we've used genuine things. So it's like things like never going to give you up and bop and all that kind of stuff. So the best thing about playing the game is you end up. A lot of people end up kind of keeping cards not because it's useful to their tableau, but because they want They want Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, and God damn it, they're going to stick it in their mixtape even if it doesn't fit. And there's at some point somebody always bursts into an incredibly bad rendition of I don't know, Walking on Sunshine or something like that. So we haven't got the rights to it, but we don't need them as far as we know. If you do need them, then get it quick, because it's going to go off the market anytime soon, because there's no way we can afford to pay any lawyers. So there you go. Get it quick before we get sued. There you go. There's the tail pitch.
There you go. Yeah. FOMO. Board gamers love a bit of FOMO.
Oh, they do. Yeah. My major mixtape, as I say, it's available for pre-order on All Play. I've done an incredibly bad job of selling it, but I'm really proud of it.
It sounds good to me. I want to try it. I want to check it out.
I will get you a review copy.
Well, that's very cool. In which case, we'll talk about it soon on Polyhedron Collider as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can get you both sorted out with a review copy. It's Mike's decision at the end of the day. So, and also I'm slack. So one of those. So you've got two hurdles to get through there. You've got me. I have to remember to do it. And then I have to.
Mike has to agree to it.
Mike has to agree to it, and after that, you'll get your copy.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So this has been Ramshackle. I've been Rory Summers. He's been Sid Gill.
I've been Sid Gill.
You have been, I don't know.
Who have I been?
Who am I?
Who's this other guy?
Well, you're a pretty big deal. You're Dan Hughes.
I am. I've got Cora downstairs, and if she came up here, that's all you'd be talking to anyway. So that's why I keep her firmly out the limelight these days. Stealing all my thunder.
We're going to draw this nonsense to a close. Dan, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you
for sharing your
Thank you,
pearls
Dan.
of wisdom and your stories of this game. So, and we'll be back with another Ramshackle episode soon. Cheerio.
Bye bye.
Cheerio.